Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. This is a video to go over the review for the part 2 quiz that you would have taken if we were in school, but we're going to do it a little different this year. So this is all the review for what would have been days 8 through 14. So after day 1 to 7, that's the multiple choice. You take your quiz. We would have gone through day 8 to 14. And what this is essentially is the same exact information as day 1 to 7, just this would have been the part 2 portion of your final exam. So this would be like showing all the work. So instead of going through all the days, I'm just going to go over the review because most of it you've actually learned already. And there's only, I think, like 8 out of the 10 questions that are even in this packet you recently saw in your midterm. So you should be good with these questions, okay? You're going to have a take-home quiz on this material. You're going to get that tomorrow. So make sure you have this packet out with you to do that take-home quiz. Because, again, it's going to be the same exact questions, just different numbers. So it definitely will help. And then make sure, don't forget, you want to post all of these pages for me on Google Classroom so you get credit for this classwork and this assignment. All right, so again, these will all look familiar, and almost every single one of them, except for a couple, were on your midterm that you guys just had a little while ago. So, all right, here we go. Number 1, the state of Delaware covers about 2 times 10 to the 4 square miles. Nile River, 7.02 times 10 to the 8th. Okay, part A. What is your combined area in square miles of the state of Delaware and the Nile River? Express your answer in sign of notation. Again, you had this on your midterm. All right, so combined, that meant to add, okay, and make sure it's in scientific notation. So you want to use these two numbers, and you want to make sure that you use parentheses, okay? That's what we always stress with you. Okay, so Delaware is 2.0 times 10 to the 4th. Actually, I'm going to put the bigger number first, just because you have to put the bigger number first on the next one. So let's get in the habit of doing that. So 7.02 times 10 to the 8th. Plus 2.0 times 10 to the 4. So that's all the work that you have to do. So you want to go into the calculator. You want to make sure you use the parentheses. Okay, and you plug in what this says right here. So 7.02 times 10 caret 8. Again, notice the parentheses, super important. Plus 2.0 times 10 to the 4th. All right, and I want this in scientific notation. So we know we press second DRG, and then we're going to move over to where it says SCI. Okay, so second DRG, move over SCI, and you have your answer, 7.0202 times 10 to the 8th power. Okay, that is done. How many times bigger? This is always the really tough one. How many times? So times does mean multiply, but how many times means to divide, okay? So for this, you want to make sure that you're using parentheses, just like the first one. And the bigger exponent must go first for it to be correct, okay? You don't want to put the smaller because it doesn't work. So the bigger number, which is the bigger exponent, has to go first. So the bigger exponent, 8, is bigger than 4, so we're going to put this number first. So again, you have the parentheses. So essentially, it's exactly what it's is up here, just we're going to use division. And we want this to be in standard form. Okay, so now where it's going to be back to that second DRG, but we're going to now go back to flow. Okay, we're going to move back to flow. All right, here we go. So 7, parentheses, 7.02 times 10 to the 8th power. And then we're going to do divided by 2.0 times 10 to the 4th power. And press enter. Oops, I forgot my exponent. And now, again, second DRG, we're going to go back to flow, and we get 35,100. So this can all be done on the calculator. Just make sure that you're using the parentheses. That's the most important thing. All right, number 2. This should look familiar. You had this on your midterm. Find the volume of the cylinder round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so your formula is V equals pi r squared h. So make sure you know that formula. And for this, we're going to use the pi button because of the fact that it doesn't say what to use for pi. And notice it says nearest tenth. All right, so we have our radius and we have our height. So we have all the information we need. So here we go. So we're going to use the pi button times 3 squared times 8. So we'll do our exponents first. So pi times 9 times 8. And then let's put that all in the calculator. So your pi button times 9 times 8. And then we're going to press enter. We want nearest tenth. So tenths, 100. So that 9 is bigger than 5. Remember, 5 or more raise the score. So the 9 rounds the 1 up to a 2. So we have 226.2 feet to the third power. Okay, this is a 3D unit. All right, first 2 questions done. Next one. All right, so this is one of the questions that were not on your midterm, but you definitely can do this because we learned this, you know, while you guys were home, and then we also just reviewed it on part 1, so this should not be too bad. Okay, what type of correlation is represented by this graph? So if you look at those dots, they're going in a negative direction. So negative, obviously, if it looks this way, that's going to be your positive because it looks like positive slope. And if it looks this way, it is negative, and that is negative. Okay, if x equals 2, what is the expected y value? So this could be a little tricky. This is kind of a high school thing. Expected means you must draw a line of best fit and use that. That's what the expected means, okay? You'll definitely learn more of this when you go to high school. So remember, to do the line of best fit, that means you want to just basically put the ruler somewhere in the middle of the dot, okay? The best of your ability, get it in the middle of the dots. I'm going to try here. Let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, look at that. First try. Nice. Okay, so we're going to go to where x equals 2, and you want to go up to the line, and then you want to go over, and it looks like it's around 10. Okay, if you guys put 9, if you put 10, just really depends on how you draw your line. Then that's really all that matters. Okay, so up from 2, up to the line, over, and it's about 10. So just based on your line, that's how you would figure it out. And let's add in one little piece of notes right here, that the line of best fit must be drawn in the middle of the dots. That's what we did right here. And in the direction of the correlation. So since it's a negative correlation, you want to draw it in the direction of that. Okay, outlier, you should remember this. So this is dot not plotted near the other dots. Okay, so you have all these dots here that make this negative correlation. Can you tell which one's kind of not near the rest? Well, that would be this right here. So 10 and 10 is the answer. All right. Moving on to number 4 already. Okay, graph line segment AB with coordinates A, which is -6, 2, and B, which is 3, 7. Okay, so this is your X, this is your Y, this is your X, this is your Y. We're going to plot it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10. Always make sure this is done first. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Negative. Okay, or remember you can do 1 box equals 1 unit because that's what they do in the high school. So first thing you want to do is you want to graph both points. Okay, and after you graph the points, we're actually going to be creating a right triangle. Then create a right triangle, and again, you did see this on your midterm. So. And I'm just going to right here, label the axes. Don't forget to label the axes. Okay, so -6 is to the left and +2 is up. So -6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up 2. Make sure that you label it with an A. That's so important. I guess I'll write that too. Must label the dots. Okay, now negative and then up again. So left, 1, 2, 3, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So now go ahead and use that ruler. And you want to connect the dots and you make a diagonal line. Now it does want us to find the length of this line. You do not know how to find the length of a diagonal line yet. You'll learn that in high school. So for now, we want to make our right triangle. So drop this point down and bring this point over till they match. And then we have our right triangle. Okay, and hopefully you remember, right triangle is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Notice it does say nearest 10th. This is your c, okay, that's your hypotenuse, and then the a and the b do not matter. Okay, so now to get the length of the A and the B, you have to count the boxes. So we'll do A first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So from this dot to this dot, it's 5 units. 1, 2, 3, and this is 3 units. So we have 5 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared. 25 plus 9, right? 5 times 5 is 25. 3 times 3 is 9. 25 plus 9 is 34. And now we don't want c squared, we want c. So take the square root. That is second x squared. Okay, I'll do that for you. Second x squared, 34, and nearest 10th. Okay, so this is my 10th. I look to the 100th. This is 4 or less, so we're going to let it rest. The 3 does not round up the 8s. So it is 5.8. If you want to put a U for units, that's okay. All right, which two consecutive integers with the length of AB? So where would you plot? So let's just let's look over here. Pretend this is our number line, okay? Where would I plot 5.8? So here's 5. 5.8 would be a little less than 5, or excuse me, a little more than 5. So where is that plotted? It's between 5 and 6. So 5.8 is between 5 and 6. Okay, number 4, done. Hopefully you guys remember a lot of this. Okay, number 5. This one, again, was on your midterm. So this is where I gave you 3 angles of a triangle, and I told you that all 3 angles of a triangle add up to, do you remember how many degrees? 180. Okay, so we're going to take all 3 of these. So 3x plus 12, 7x plus 13, and 4x minus 13, and we're going to equal it to 180. Okay, so this is a plus 13, this is a minus 13, and now we're going to combine our like terms. So basically DCMS, I guess. So there's no distribution. So that's done. Combine. So this side, we can combine a 3x, a 7x, and a 4x. 7 plus 3 is 10, plus 4 is 14. And we can combine our constants. What's nice is positive and negative 13, they cancel each other out. So I'm left with just a plus 12. All right, now we're just going to solve our 2 steps. So move over your constant by doing the opposite operation. And we're going to get 168. Divide, divide. And x is going to be 168 divided by 14, and x is 12. All right, so now we want to solve for the measure of angle t. We specifically want this angle. Again, you do this on your midterm for me. So the measure of angle t, we're going to copy this expression, 7x plus 13. I can't use any other expression. I have to use t. Now we're going to plug this into here. So the measure of angle t is 7 times 12 plus 13. So we're going to follow order of operations, and 7 times 12 is 84. And 84 plus 13 is 97. So the measure of angle t is 97 degrees. All right, hopefully that one was not too bad. All right, number 6, we have a graphing question. All right, so we have 2 different graphs. We have this one and this one, our 2 equations. So our first equation we'll put over here, and our second equation we're going to put over here. Okay, and this does say systems of equations. We know we can do that algebraically, but right now we're going to do it graphically. Okay, so we have to list our M and our B. Remember, M stood for move, B for begin. So y equals mx plus b. That's what we're going off of. So the number in front of the x, the coefficient of x, okay, that's going to be your m. And then mx plus b. And then your constant is where you begin. Okay, before I can do anything, I have to label. So 1 box equals 1 unit. I'll label it both ways because I don't know how you're going to do it. This is mostly how the high school does it. 10. Okay, so here we go. So for our first one, we begin at the y-intercept. So here's my y-axis. So I'm going to begin at 4 on the y-axis. So now you want to make this a fraction in order to move. I need a rise over run. So definitely put it over 1 all the time. Every single time it's going to be a whole number, integer, whatever, put it over 1. Okay, so it's going to go up and to the right. Remember, we're going to move up because a positive slope. Think of slopitude. We're going up the hill. Okay, so from here, we're going to go up one, right one, up one, right one. After you make the second move, that's when you put the dot. Up one, right one, up one, right one. Okay, so continue that pattern all the way to the end. That's super important. Now we come back here to that beginning dot and do the opposite. Instead of up one, we're going to go down one. Instead of right one, we're going to go left one. Okay, keep going, all the way to the end. That's super important. So take that ruler, and we're going to connect, go past the graph. Okay, that's important. You have to show that it keeps going. Put your equation, and then put your arrows as well. Okay, so that first one is done. That's our first one. Okay, so now we're going to go to our second one. Same process. So my slope is the coefficient, the one number in front of x. Notice it's already a fraction. I don't have anything to do to that. And the y-intercept is the constant. So this is our move, and this is our begin. All right, so begin at 2. This is called a y-intercept. So you're going to start on the y-axis. So we're going to begin here at 2. And this is also negative, so we're going to move down. Oh, no, this one was positive. Sorry, so this one is negative, so we're going to move down instead of up. But no matter what, the bottom is always to the right. Okay, the denominator is always, always, always to the right. So we're going to go down 1, right 2. Put a dot. Down 1, right 2. There we go. Once you get one dot on top of the other, make sure you circle so you don't lose it. Down 1, right 2, down 1, 2. Okay, so now go back to that middle dot. Let's do the opposite. Up 1, left 2. Up 1, left 2. Follow that pattern because we have a constant slope. That's what makes it linear. You're constantly doing the same thing, constantly doing the same slope. It makes it a line. Line has constant rate of change. Okay, we're going to connect the dots. Make sure you go all the way through. Make sure you put your equation on the line. Okay, so now it wants a solution to the system. By now you should already know the solution is where the two lines intersect. Okay, you had this on your part 1 quiz, and that was that dot right here, that solution point. So 1, 2, 3, it's 4 to the right, so your x is 4. Y did not go up or down, so it is 4, 0. All right, hopefully that question was not too bad. Let's move on to question number 7. Okay, so this is the other question that was not on your midterm, because at that point we hadn't learned it yet, but you should know how to do two-way tables now. A random sample of students at a local middle school were asked if they were on a sports team. Complete the two-way table. All right, so remember, these are our totals, okay, and these are the numbers that basically add to get the total, okay, whether you do it this way, which is your row, or this way, which is your column, okay. This plus this would get me this, okay. All right, so 25 plus something is 46. So I need to know what that something is, so I do the opposite. I do 46 minus 25, and that gets me 21. Okay, I don't have enough numbers here. I don't have enough numbers here, so now I'm going to start going with my columns. So 25 plus something is 29. So if you're not sure, do 29 minus 25, and you get 4. Okay, now I have these two, and I'm going to add them together to get the total. 21 plus 28 is 49. Here, okay, I don't have anything, so I'm going to go back this way. This one's done. All right, so now these two numbers add together to get this total. So 4 plus 28 is 32. And now you can either add those two numbers to get this total or these two numbers. You'll get the same exact thing. So I already have 32 in my calculator. So I'm just going to add 46 on, and I should get 78. Okay, so that's how you fill in the table. All right, how many students were surveyed? That's going to always be this number right here. And that's going to be your total for the table. That's what we say. This is the total surveyed. Total surveyed. All right, so now we're going to make our fraction. Let's see what we have. I think you actually had this question on your stats quiz. What's the relative frequency of an 8th grade student who plays on a sports team to all the students surveyed? Okay, so I taught you if you see of and to, if you have both of them, we're going to go to that word to. This right here is telling us what our denominator is, who's actually being surveyed, and this is what we want to know about them. Okay, so let's make that fraction. So the bottom is who is being surveyed. So all students surveyed. How many people in total were surveyed? Well, we just did that up here, and that is 78. Now I want to know, I should use different colors. I want to know this one right here. 8th grade students who plays on a sports team. So of everybody that's done, I want to know 8th grade who plays on a sports team. So those intersect right here. So this is my other number. That's the both. Okay, so 21 over 78. Expression as a fraction. We did that. Let's just see if I can simplify it. 21 ABC 78. And yes, I can, 7 over 26. So that's technically the final answer. All right, so that was our two-way table question. Number 8, you had this on your midterm. Maria saves the same amount of money each month in her bank's saving account. The amount of money she saved after different numbers of months is shown in the following table. Here's your table, months of savings, total amount saved. All right, here we go. Rate of change. So rate of change is the same thing as slope. And you know, I'd always ask you, which 2 points do we use? And to be consistent, we always use the first 2 points. So we have 2, 300 and 4, 500. So you have x1 and y1, x2 and y2. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Okay, so y2 is 500, y1 is 300, x2 is 4, x1 is 2. So now let's just keep simplifying. 500 minus 300 is 200, 4 minus 2 is 2, and 200 divided by 2 is 100. So we have our slope of 100. Okay, next one, y-intercept. Okay, so we know we use, to be consistent, we use the first point, which is the same work you guys did on the multiple choice part, you know, the day 1 to 7. So we use our first point, and then we use our slope that we just came up with. And the formula we use, or the equation, is y equals mx plus b, okay? So my y value is 300. My slope is what I figured out above, so that's 100. The x is 2, and then we always leave a blank. So remember, you always multiply first, so 100 times 2 is 200, and then I want to get this by itself, so I'm going to move over that constant. So subtract 2, oh, same answer, look at that. So this is also 100. All right, and then the last thing we want to do is figure out the equation. So you're plugging into this, y equals mx plus b form. So I know the m from above is 100. I know the b from below is also 100. So plug in to get your equation, y equals 100x plus 100. They're not always the same. That just happened to happen, which is kind of funny. But all right, so hopefully that question was not too bad. We've got 2 questions left. Again, this is all going to help you for your take home. Okay, this is the last one that you, yep, because you already did that one. Okay, so this is the last one that was not on your midterms. There's only like 2 or 3 of these in this entire packet. Everything else you've already seen. Okay, and this was your reflection, translation, transformation kind of question. We haven't done this in a very, very, very long time. So let's try our best with this one. All right, triangle DOG, oh yay, dog, Roxy, is with vertices as follows. So graph the image of dog. Okay, so we already have this down here for us, DOG, dog. And now what it wants us to do is it wants us to graph the image of that original. Remember, this is called your original. After reflection over the y-axis. So reflecting over the y, remember the rule, you change the sign of the x values. So reflect over the y, you change the x. And don't forget, you want to label with primes, okay? So 1 box equals 1 unit. Let me set this up really quick. Seven, 8, 9, 10. Go into our negatives. Okay. All right, so I'm going to show you 2 ways. I'm going to show you the counting way and the rule way. So I think I'm going to do the counting first, actually. Okay, so you are reflecting over this axis right here, right? It said over the y-axis. So because D is 2 units to the right, I had taught you that this was symmetric, so now it has to be 2 units to the left, and that would be D prime, okay? Now, if I show it to you with the rule, changing the x value, that means I'll be changing this value. So positive 2 would go to negative 2, and the negative 1 would be the same. So let's see if that is correct. So negative 2, negative 1, yep, I got that right. Okay, let's go to O. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right. So go back here, we're going to go now symmetric to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is O prime. So let's do the rule way. Reflect over the y, you change the x. So we're changing this positive 5 to negative 5, and that stays the same. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, very good. Okay, one more. This is 1 to the right, 1 to the left. Don't forget about the prime. And again, we're changing our x because we're reflecting over the y. So negative 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, that is correct. Okay, don't forget the primes. Make sure you use a ruler that I'm not really using. So it's sloppy to connect your dots and make your image. Remember, this is called an image. All right, I got one more to go. So now we're going to graph. Okay, this is going to be a double prime. That's how we say that. The image of the one we just did, right? We just did the one with the primes. After translation of 3 units left and 5 units up. So again, this was our second figure that we are now doing. So this is our composition of transformations that we did. Okay, so you're going to take this orange triangle that we just created, and now you're going to, remember, translate, just remember, basically just meant slide. So we're going to slide each point 3 to the left and 5 up. Okay, so start with D prime. So 3 to the left and 5 up. Now just make sure you're doing double prime, okay? Double prime. Now we're going to do O. So 3 to the left and then 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's double O. And then G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. Nope, sorry, 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3 to the left. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. So notice I didn't do anything with the coordinates. I went straight to graphing, because with translations, it really just is easier to just graph it right away. Okay, let me try to make this somewhat straight lines. I think I do better without the ruler. All right, so this is going to be our double image, our double prime. And now we're just going to get those coordinates and we'll be done. So D double prime, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we went 5 to the left, so it's going to be negative 5. 4 up is positive 4. And then O, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to the left, so that's negative 8. And 1 up, so that's positive 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left is negative 4, and down 1 is negative 1, okay? Also didn't label the axes. Make sure you do that. All right, so this is also considered an image. You could really essentially do this with the numbers if you wanted to. 3 to the left would mean x minus 3, and 5 up would be y plus 5. So what you basically do is you take these numbers here, and you would do negative 2 minus 3. Negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. And then you do negative 1 plus 5. Okay, negative 1 plus 5 is 4. And then you just keep going and doing each one. So negative 5 minus 3 would be negative 8. Negative 4 plus 5 is 1. And then here would be negative 1 minus 3, which is negative 4. And negative 6 plus 5 is negative 1. So you could technically do it with the numbers. I just don't. I think the graphing way is easier for you guys. And I just forgot to write one more little thing. Let's just write this over here. Label with double primes. You want to make sure everything in this section is labeled with double primes. All right, we're already on to the last question. So hopefully these 10 were not too bad. Okay, so the last one, you also have this on your midterm. Solve for x and y algebraically. All right, so this was our substitution question. Substitution question. And what you had to do is you had to plug this binomial has 2 terms, into that letter right there. We plug this into here. Okay, so we start with the one where the x and the y are on the same side. That's how we taught it to you. And then I would always ask you, okay, well, so what is this information equal to? What letter? It's equal to y. So that's how you know you're plugging it in for y. So 5x plus 3, this is a binomial. It has to go in parentheses. Anytime you substitute anything, it essentially should go in parentheses. Okay, I'm going to distribute. This is not next to the parentheses, so we bring down the 5x. 3 times negative 4x is negative 12x. 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. Okay, that is done. C, remember, doing complicated math things. Distribute, combine, move, solve. So combine our like terms. 5x minus 12x, they're on the same side, so do the same operation. 5 minus 12 is negative 7. There's no variables on both sides, so we don't have to move anything. So we're just going to go ahead and finish up our 2 steps. So add them together. 18 plus 3 is 21. And then we're going to divide, and we get x equals negative 3. Okay, so now we have half of the work. Now we get the other half. So this is where I taught you to use the bottom one because it's already y equals. Set up a little bit easier for us. So now you're going to basically take this number here and plug it in right there. Take the negative 3 and plug it in there. So negative 4 times negative 3 is 12. 12 minus 6 is 6. So now you have your coordinate, -3, 6. And I also taught you how you could go and you could check these. Okay, you just plug it back in. 5 times -3 is -15. And then 6 times, so this would be -15. 6 times 3 is 18. 18 minus 5 is 3. That's correct. Here, this is 6. So -4 times -3 is -12. Excuse me, +12. And 12 minus 6 would be 6. So that's correct. So you could just do a quick little check here by just plugging it back in, and then you're good to go. And let's just write one more thing over here so you have for your notes. You want to plug the binomial, that's this right here, into y in the equation above it. Okay, so plug the binomial into y in the equation above it. So that's us plugging this into this equation above it. All right, so these are all the 10 questions that would have been on your part 2 quiz. You'll see, again, a lot of them are from your midterm, so you should be comfortable with these. And the other ones that were not on your previous midterm that we didn't review, we've kind of been doing on day 1 to 7 of all this review. So definitely make sure you post all these on Google Classroom for me so you get the credit for it. And just make sure you have this out with you when you're working on your take-home quiz tomorrow, and it'll definitely help you. So if you have any questions at all, please reach out to me. If not, have a great day. Bye.